Alright, what makes a good pickup? Today we're going to discuss this, whether we're researching guitars to buy or thinking of upgrading our favorite acts. This question inevitably comes up. Let's discuss what a pickup is, how it works, and what it means for one to be good, and if that even matters. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by any of the brands shown in this video. Alright, so what is a guitar pickup? Well, it uses permanent magnets and coiled wire to induce a current signal in this wire when you vibrate a string through the magnetic field. This vibration of the string is what makes the signal in the coiled wire. This signal is then sent through the wiring of your guitar to the cable, to your signal chain, and eventually the amplifier, or to the computer and your speakers. There are many different types of guitar pickups. So there's humbuckers, there's single coils, which is just one of these instead of two of them. There's P90s, there's mini humbuckers, and more. Some pickups have extra circuitry in them, like this active pickup with its built-in preamp. As such, it requires an active power source, like a battery. So in answering the question, what makes a good pickup? First, there's the obvious answer of the quality. Just if it's quality built, is it going to fall apart? Are the wires inside protected? Because if there's a break in the wire, it basically kills the pickup. Is there microphonic feedback from the pickup? Also consider the wiring after the pickup in your guitar too, because that can affect things. If the pickup is perfect and there's shoddy wiring in your guitar, well then you're just going to get a messy, disgusting signal anyways, if any at all. So frequency, response, and sound. What is the signal that ultimately comes out of the pickup? This signal, of course, is ultimately transformed into sound through one means or another. You may want something that is not too trebly, doesn't have too much bass. Maybe there's a certain frequency of mid-range you want to emphasize. So what affects this signal that comes out of the pickup? Well, recall the signal is induced through the vibrations of the string, and the guitarist, you, picks the frequency that the string vibrates at by fretting a note. So the frequency response describes how a circuit in the system reacts to various frequency inputs. In this case, the frequencies of the string vibrating, thus making that signal. Of course, with guitar pickups, there's more to it than just vibrating a string and getting a signal. You have different types of pickups with different types of magnets in them. The two most common ones I can think of are the Alnico and Ceramic magnets. Now, the Alnico magnet is called such because it's an alloy of about 3 metals, aluminum, nickel, and cobalt. And so, there's Alnico 1, 2, 3, etc. And those are just from different percentages of aluminum, nickel, and cobalt. And then there are ceramic magnets, which are made of iron oxide and strontium carbonate. These are also known as ferrite magnets. And so the strength of the magnet will give a hotter sound or a louder sound, higher amplitude, if it's stronger. And so that'll affect the signal, how much it drives the amp, etc. But there's more to it than that. A pickup can also be louder, have a louder, hotter signal if it has more coils of winding of the wires, that is. The thing about having more windings, though, is that you're going to increase the self-inductance of the pickup. And basically what that's going to do is roll off the treble some. So it's going to sound more bassy, appear to have more mids, and overall have a louder signal. And also in the case of humbuckers, they're going to see more of the string versus a single coil. And what that does, well, think of the difference between the bridge pickup and the neck pickup, how those will sound different. You're going to get a little bit of that phenomenon too. So armed with that knowledge, what are you looking for when it comes to frequency response? Do you want something with more treble, more upper mids? Do you want just the loudest thing possible? Do you need something really bassy, something thick with mid-range? Maybe you want something more well-rounded, something maybe medium output. You can start to choose what you're looking for. You can start to choose a pickup based off of its construction, relative to what kind of music or what kind of sound you're trying to make. Do you want the warm, smooth tones that the Alnico magnets can provide? Or maybe the output of ceramic magnets used in pickups give you what you're looking for. Something else to consider that I've noticed is just the balance of volume between the strings. Some pickups have blade magnets, but a lot of them have one magnet pole per string. And so if one string is significantly quieter or louder than the others, that could lead to an odd playing experience at best. For example, I've noticed the Fusion Edge pickups. While I do like the tone of them, the sound of them, they can be just a little bit quieter on the 6th string or 7th string, whichever one is the lowest string. And I've noticed this just a little bit in my RG5320. It's not the end of the world, it's not a deal breaker, but being the guitarist, practicing with it, playing with it, I do notice it. This RG550 Genesis doesn't have that problem though. Are these good or bad things? Maybe you want the lower string to be a little quieter. This is just more knowledge to help you decide. So let's talk about buzz and noise, and this can help you decide between a humbucker or a single coil. So recall that humbuckers are two oppositely wound single coils next to each other, and they're typically wired up in series. So this helps defeat the 60 cycle hum and other unwanted noise and interference in the signal that's output by it. This is especially valuable under high gain playing. There are single coils that take this principle and just stack them on top of each other. And they sound mostly like single coils, but there is a tonal difference. Maybe that difference is worth it for not having noise in the signal. Maybe you want that true single coil tone. But besides the obvious differences in construction, how many coils you have, etc., there are different sounding models of humbuckers and different sounding single coils, also different sounding P90s, etc. Recall the conversation about numbers of turns of winding and magnets. So in the quest of finding the answer to what is a good pickup, is there a certain sound you're chasing, or do you need just to have no noise in the signal whatsoever? Let's go more in-depth in the differences between pickup models. As mentioned, different models of pickup can sound different, whether they're warmer, whether they're brighter. So this is going beyond the difference between humbucker and single coil. Whether you're targeting a certain frequency, maybe the upper mid-range, maybe something lower down in the spectrum, maybe you need something with more 250 Hz. Does that make one model of pickup better than the other? So you can ask yourself, do you need a more fuller sound, or do you need to emphasize certain frequencies? Maybe you need to leave more room for the treble. Recall we were talking about having more windings, for example, is like rolling off some of the treble. Maybe you'd pick a pickup with that to match your needs. So does it matter which pickup you pick? Maybe using true single coils for ultra high gain stuff will cause you some problems. But beyond the obvious, does it really matter if you pick the DiMarzio Tone Zone or the EMG 81? Is your audience even going to know the difference between the pickups? They probably haven't heard you A/B test them in your guitar or through your amplifier. And you also have to factor in the acoustics of the venue, or if they're listening to your music online, cell phone audio, computer audio, headphone audio. There are so many factors that go into how your music, how your guitar sounds. Your amp or plug-in, your pedals, how long your cable is, and the circuit it has to run through. So many different things go into changing the sound of your guitar. Besides, you can get a different sound just by changing your amp settings. What changing pickups will definitely do is change how the guitar feels to play. Hotter pickups will pick up all your little mistakes. Lower output pickups won't drive your amp as hard, so you'll have more room for dynamics in your playing. One thing to consider when choosing pickups is the genre of music you're targeting. For example, metal and humbuckers go hand in hand. With that being said though, there's a lot of metal these days that also has single coil tones or split humbucker tones. Your choice of humbucker will then be dictated by what tones you need to make your music. If you're playing in a band, you may need to match the tones that band is looking for. For example, you might not use single coils if you're in a Bullet for My Valentine cover band. Now, depending on your setup and how well you know EQ and your settings, you might be able to get away with using atypical pickups for the type of music, the genre of music you're playing. You can get a thinner sound with humbuckers. You can get a thicker sound with single coils. So at the end of the day, what matters the most to you? Do you need something that fits nicely into the niche of music that you're trying to play? Maybe you need something more versatile to handle all types of different situations and sounds. Maybe you need something that won't have any extra noise or interference. Or maybe you're trying to stray off of the beaten path and use different types of pickups for unexpected types of music. What makes a good pickup then, besides being a functional component, will be answered by finding the answers to these questions. But what do you think makes a good pickup, and what has worked for you? Be sure to comment down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on all this? Of course, this is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, print out every frame and mail it, become a member, check out the Discord, look at the Patreon, do a backflip, and as always, peace.